Bink, the humble monster.
What's good, man?
How you doing, man?
Man,
You finally here, huh?
I can't complain too much.
Hey, man, not looking at your year. In the last few years, I don't know why you be complaining.
Man, it's still trying to make it, man.
Hey, man, it's an uphill battle.
We in a forever changing world, game, industry, everything, man. You gotta, it's constant.
And it's evolving, not in our favor.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah, exactly, man. So I think that's more, I have a challenge more with that than the actual creative side. It's just always trying to find how I fit in without fitting in.
That part.
Yeah.
That part. That's having a conscience of having some type of integrity.
Yes.
For your music. You know what I'm saying? But before we get too far, I gotta introduce you. I can't just bring you on. Everybody
yeah. Okay.
No, but
we already getting into
yeah, that part. Grammy Award winning. You know what I mean? The man, only guy I know from Waco, Texas, besides Dave Koresh. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, he brought you a bunch of Kanye's joints, Watch the Throne, the new J. Cole joint, ladies and gentlemen, the Symbolyc One, what we call S1.
What's good, my guy Bink?
Oh, man, yeah, listen, the first time I heard Power, I had to find out who it was.
Wow.
Like, I had to find out, like, hold up, wait.
Nah, that's amazing coming from you, man, because, like, you one of those producers, like I have a certain select, producers that every time I saw somebody's name or this specific producer's name on a song or album cover or in the credits or whatever, like I it's automatic that I listen to it. You were one of them guys, man, because of your consistency. Wow. So for you to say something like that is like, man, this is crazy.
When I heard Power, I was like, who is this? Like, and that's how I've always been. Like, I don't just like to hear things that actually moves me and impresses me and inspires me and not know who's responsible. You know what I'm saying? I always made it a thing for me to find out, who was that?
Yeah. Now I think that just comes from the, the era that we come from, man, because I still do the same thing. I'm still a guy that, I hate that there's not any physicals anymore, CDs or, things of that sort, because I'm the type of guy that every time I went to the store and bought an album, I'm reading the credits as I'm looking at the album, as I'm listening to the album. Yeah. So I'm the same way. So now that it's been replaced with streaming, and not all the time they have the credits. So if I hear something I like, I'm like, I'll start my Google searches like, who did this joint?
Who did?
So
who is responsible?
I'm the same way, man.
But you've always had a different approach from day one. Like, you can tell that you're just a fan of music because you don't put yourself in a box, whether it's timing of the drums or the genre of the music. You know what I'm saying? Like, I see you have a very open mind when you're looking for samples or just creating, which we share the same sentiments, where it's just like, to hear that from somebody else is dope, because we're such in a monkey see monkey do musical era. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's last record is based on the record before that.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Remake.
Whereas we're not even listening to that. Like, okay, that was cool. Yeah. But let me see what this Polish music talking about right quick. You know what I'm saying? Like anything just to spark that idea. What got you there? Like, who was some of your favorites Like the person that really made you be like, you know what, I'm producing. Like what guy was that?
With me, I would have to say it was Dilla, man.
Good
Yeah,
choice.
it was definitely Dilla. Prior to that, I was always, I was into music, but, before, in school, I didn't even it wasn't even a thought of me being a music producer. It wasn't even a goal. It
Same
wasn't
here.
a passion.
Same here. Same here. Not until I graduated. Well, I got an
Yeah,
SRT.
not till I graduated, man. And then I started hanging with one of my cousins, and he was in one of my first group and the group that actually started to do something, which was Strange Fruit Project. But he was like super MC. Every time I'm with him, every time I'm riding around with him, he freestyling it to every joint that come on. So I just kind of picked it up, So we started a little rap group, started writing, and then we got to the point to where our demo tapes basically consisted of just us rhyming over other people's music, instrumental, break beats. And it came to a point that was like, yo, man, how are people making their own stuff? And, I started digging more and listening more. And I came across like just some old Dilla beats and some early Slum Village stuff, man. And it was just life-changing for me because just the way.
What year was that? What year was that?
This was like 98. No. 95, 96.
95? Okay.
Yeah, 95, 90. Yeah, probably.
Great time for hip hop. Great time.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, with me, it was just coming across his music. And once I started hearing his stuff and everything that I was listening to, and then I started going back and realizing he was part of the Uma. And then, of course I was a big Tribe fan, but I started listening to Tribe's stuff even more.
Exactly.
And, it just really just reshaped my whole creative bug.
Oh, he would definitely send you back to the drawing board. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Bro.
Listening to this stuff, it's like, okay, maybe I don't know a lot because I'm still bugging up for donuts.
Correct, man, bro. I'm telling you, it's just something about, I always say like one of the things I try to go in with in my creative mode is music or feeling over technicality. And it was always feeling over technicality with him, because every time I played something, it literally made me feel a certain type of way.
Like you can't swing with the quantize on.
Yes, you can't. It's no way, man. It's all
you start playing with the numbers. You start playing with the numbers, but I was blessed enough to be able to program freehand, good enough to leave it there.
Yes, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like real, like for real, like it's just like you say, when you got a field, I mean, it's not dead on. So you're either gonna be ahead or behind. So it's like, as soon as you hit quantize, all that feeling leaves.
Yes.
It's out of here. See you later.
Yeah. So he mastered that, man, and he was definitely one of the ones that was like, yo, I want to make people feel like this. Or if I don't make people feel like this, I want to at least try to come close to it.
And he like he had such a wide spectrum of, music, like going from, Bilal to Erykah Badu, to Tribe to, you know what I mean? It's just like, God, this dude.
Yeah, man.
Like that's what really impressed me about him as well. And the fact that he never used the same drums ever.
It's crazy.
So once I heard that, that's what made me say, you know what, you gotta step your game up.
Crazy.
Early, I had my favorite snare and kick early.
Yeah, we all have that. We all had that, man.
So I gotta stop this shit. I gotta stop it. And I stopped. And once I started paying more attention to Dilla, and actually, and just listening, like, you know what, I recognized the breaks. I said, but he chopping these joints up.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? I'm like,
and that's what really made him special is the way he saw music and the way he saw, like, just different pieces of the sample and how he chopped it. Man, it was just something special about that.
Insane. I was at soundtracks one night with Knots in them, and they used to do a lot of work with Busta.
Mm-hmm.
So Busta had his door open to his studio, and his beat tape was playing, and the beats were fading out and fading into each other. Like it was never a quiet spot. It was always another beat coming on as the other one was going off, and every last one of them was just like, "What the fuck is that,
Man?"
And I had to ask him, "Bro, who beat tape is this, bro?" They're like, "Dilla."
Wow.
And I was just like, every last one on the swing on it was so
Man.
different. I'm like, what sample is that? And what in the world? Like nothing.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? It was like just so unique. I was just like, wow. You know what I mean? And the feel to it though was just like, because to me today, Knots is the closest thing we got to Dilla.
Yes, I agree.
You know what I'm saying? And Dilla spent a lot of time down here in Virginia with Knots. A lot of people don't know that.
Wow.
Dilla came in here a lot. And I was actually blessed for him to come to my house.
Amazing.
In Jersey. He was signed to Universal at the time.
That's amazing,
and,
man.
A friend of mine was working there at the time, and he had given him some of my beats.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually did one, but I had already given it to Jizza for Wu-Tang. So years later, he came back. After he passed, he came back, and he had already done a song to it called My Diary, which was the title track to his album. You know what I'm saying? So we ended up coming out anyway. So I was just like, wow, but when he came to my house, I had no idea of the things he had done. And I was so mad because I'm like, I was such a stand for the Tribe. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like a stand for Tribe. So had I known that, I gave it up to him, but it just would have been
a whole nother level, man.
You know what I'm saying? A whole level of giving it up to him.
Yeah, man. What's crazy is like once you know we started my group Strange Fruit Project and things start to take off for us. Just from like putting our first album out, you know, we started to get, you know, this was back in the days where Little Brother would start the bubble and Slum Village was starting the bubble. You know, we were big fans of theirs as well, but we started getting the comparisons, and then we became like one of Questlove's favorite group, and he passed it to Badu. Badu wound up becoming a fan of our group, and my managers at the time were living in LA, and I remember, man, one day he called me and he was like, "Yo, you're not gonna believe what went down last night." He said, "I was at the Root Down spot in LA, you know, where they have a bunch of underground." He was like, and I saw Dilla, and I went up to him and, you know, just introduced myself. He's like, "Yo, you know, my name is Vincent Brandon. I manage the group Strange Fruit Project." And he said, Dilla was like, "For real? You manage Strange Fruit Project?" He was like, "Yo, big fan. And then he said at that time, we had already kind of wrote on our vision board that we wanted him to either produce something or remix. He had actually, you know, a couple weeks later, he had actually agreed to do a remix for us to one of our songs called Love Is. And bro, I tell you, I was so excited that, you know, one of my heroes was going to do a remix for us. Right. But unfortunately, like, you know, things kind of went down from there, and he passed like a few months later. So it was like right in those days.
Crazy. And that's like you say, if you are a producer, you couldn't help but be a fan of Dilla.
Yeah, like man.
It's like it was just too much to take in listening to his music. Like you can learn so much as a listener. Because you understood what it took to get it there. You know what I'm saying? Like that type of thing. You know what I mean? How did you end up meeting up with Ye though?
So Ye, the situation with Ye came from it was really relationships. So I started working with Lil Brother. So you know, good friends with Fonte, Pooh, and Ninth Wonder. Started working with them, and then I was working with Fonte on his solo stuff. And it was basically just a situation where Fonte hit me up one day. He was like, "Yo, my guy Rhymefest needs some more beats to finish his album. I'm gonna link y'all to." So I'm like, cool. So he linked us. I sent Ron Fest some beats over. And also I did a remix for him because it was one particular track that he had a beat for, but he was having problems with the producer. So he was like, yo, can you do another beat for this joint? So I did that. Right. He loved it. I sent him some more beats and he was like, yo, I'm loving these. He told me it was like 4 beats that he wanted to use for his album, but he was at the end of his budget. So he was like, yo, can I pay you for 2 of the beats? And can I have the other 2? And I wasn't tripping at the time. I was like, yo, You know what? I was like, pay me for the 2 beats and I'll just give you these other 2. Like, I'm a big fan. And he was like, cool. So fast forward a couple months later, he's in the studio with Kanye and he calls me and he's on the phone and he's kind of whispering. He's like, yo, I'm out here in Hawaii in the studio with Kanye. Send me some beats over. And if I get the opportunity, I'm going to try to play them for him. So I was like, cool. So I sent the beats over to him and didn't hear nothing back. So automatically in my mind, I'm like, okay, either Ye didn't like the stuff or he didn't get to play them for him. So go on, minding my own business. You know, that's a story I had heard so many times at that time. But out of the blue one day, he sends me a text message and the text said, Kanye is loving your stuff. He said he's about to change your life. You know, so I'm reading this text like, yo, this is crazy. Following day, I'm out. Me and my wife were out eating, and I get an email from Don C. He was like, yo, get to the airport. Your flight is leaving for Hawaii later today.
Oh, damn.
So, yeah. So I'm at the airport, and by this time, things is happening so fast. I'm like, yo, what is going on? So that whole 6-hour flight, I'm on there just my mind is just racing. Like, man, like, you know, because prior to that, it was like years of trying to get to that moment. Right. But having so much fall through and rejection and all of that, you know, so I was just like, man, what is going on? So wound up going to Hawaii, you know, I'm in the studio. It's him and Fest and me. And he was like, yo, I'm really loving your beats. It's making me want to rap again. And he was like, I already recorded to one of them. And he hit play, and it was the Power record. And mind you that when he first played it, it was different verses. The hook was completely different. It was like super raw, you know. Right. Some of the instrumentation that he had added to it wasn't there, so it was just raw beats and rhymes. Right. And I was sitting there listening to it the whole time, like, yo, this Kanye is actually rhyming over one of my beats. And I was just in this phase, you know, where I was just almost hypnotized. Yeah. Just by the moment, man, and actually feeling like I had, like everything was finally starting to really work out. You know, so I wound up staying up there for like 2 weeks and working on the My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy album, man. And hearing your joint over and over, like, yo, who did this? And man,
I think we just missed each other, actually.
What was that?
We had just missed each other.
Wow.
Actually, you know what I'm saying? When I came to Hawaii as well.
It's crazy, man. That's what really took my career to the next level, just being on that album and having his first single. And that's how I came about.
So being on that Kanye album definitely put you like in the window of the Gucci store. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was still broke when that album come out. So I wasn't in
no Gucci. Aren't we always?
I wasn't in no Gucci store, man.
That check ain't hit the account yet.
Nah, man. And you know, that was at that time, that was, you know, prior to that, I was just doing it, you know, independent joints here and there, trying to pay the bills.
No, I was looking like, yo, to see you go from 0 to 60 in the time that you did, it was like, because I tell people all the time, listen, man, in this game, you get a shitload of no's. Yes. But that one yes can change your life.
That one yes can change your life.
You get a whole bunch of no's in a row. You know what I'm saying?
Whole bunch of no's,
so if you ain't built for, you know, discouragement and just keep getting up, brushing yourself off,
this not the game. This not the game for you, man.
Get out. You know what I mean? Get out now. Save yourself. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
That's the truth, man. I tell people all the time, like, you gotta be able to go through the 20 no's, the 50 no's to get to the one yes. You know, and that was one of the things that I say my 13 years prior to getting that power joint, it was my boot camp. It was going through those rejections. But one thing about me is those rejections was actually making me better. Because it was like, okay, I get the no. It's like, okay, I'm a human, so I get discouraged. But every time I get discouraged or down or feeling a little down, like that next day, I'm excited. Okay, they didn't like this. I'm going back in the lab and I'm gonna make something. So every time I was failing at something, I was just increasing, bro, because I just wanted to prove myself so much, and I knew the only way to do that was to get back in the lab and get better.
That's the only way, bro.
Yeah.
Like it says, like it was. I had so many defining moments like that too, where you know you meet up with somebody and they hear your beats and they, now I don't really hear nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's not really the direction I'm trying to go in. Like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Appreciate your time, but that's you, like a part of you die inside, like so crazy.
It does, man. It really does.
I don't want to hear that.
Man, I've had so many moments like that, bro. Like for real. But then another good thing is a lot of those moments early moments I have, like coming in contact with, I remember giving like Game a beat CD, trying to get on 50's album. I had like direct, like I was working with Shy Money close, and this was all before the power joint. But then, you know, fast forward in due time, like I got, you know, I've produced 4 or 5 joints for Game and, you know, 2 or 3 for 50 Cent. And, you know, so things come around when they're supposed to. It's understanding that too. Like the timing is everything. Everything.
But the thing is, you also made some bones for yourself by, you know, forming your own group and putting in all that work, you know, saying prior to getting to Kanye. So with me, bro, I was only in the game like 3 years before I got the Blackstreet record. You know what I'm saying?
Wow,
so
that's crazy, man.
Yeah, but that was because Teddy was here in Virginia. You know what I'm saying? So had he been in New York, it would have been damn near impossible.
Did you have a relationship with Teddy, or was it just a situation that you was able to meet him and play him some stuff?
What it was that I had a friend of mine named Christo, and Christo sister used to work up at he had a label called LOR back in the day, Life of Raleigh, and Christo used to work there too, or whatever. So he used to kind of manage me and my man Chance. You know, Chance was rapping, and Teddy was using Chance a lot on like the Black Girl record, like 90s Girl record. Like that's my man Chance rapping up there, and he's rapping on the first Blackstreet album, the not No Diggity, but the one before that.
Okay.
That album, you know, the first, a Booty Call joint. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of had an in, but not a definite. You know what I'm saying? I could at least get through the doorway. You know what I'm saying? So but the crazy thing was when I finally got up with him, I wasn't even at the studio. I was somewhere else. And he just happened to be there and heard me upstairs, and came up, was like, "Yo, you know, let me hear some more." So I played some more, and then I finally put the bar sample on. He was just like, hold on, wait a minute. He started calling everybody in the room. He was like, "Yo, what you doing tomorrow night?" I'm like, "Shit, whatever you need me to do tomorrow night."
Real.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we got a trick question. Like, I'm with you tomorrow night. You know what I mean? And I know he had me in Trinidad.
Wow.
Finishing the album. So, like you say, you gotta persevere, man. You gotta just keep keep your head low and keep firing, like Biggie say.
Yep.
Because you just never know. Like
never
I said,
know.
You get 2,000 no's, man.
You never know. And it's so important too, man, to be prepared for those moments when they come.
Part.
Yeah.
I used to keep a Walkman with me with my beat tape in it.
Bro.
That's how I met Jay Brown at a SWV video shoot, and I gave him my Walkman. I said, "Yo, just take it, come back." That's how I used to always do. I give him my Walkman and just let him just go. You know what I mean? Just bring it back when you finish. You know what I'm saying?
That's being prepared. Yeah.
That's being prepared. So I always kept beats on. I never gave anybody the beats to walk with. But I always gave them beats to hear. They can understand what it was. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's crazy.
They don't want to get back in contact. Yeah.
Amazing.
But we had another mutual friend, Exhibit.
Yeah, that's my guy, man.
Come on, man. That's like my brother right there.
Love
Great guy.
Exhibit, man.
Yeah. So how did that come about?
That came through. I think my guy Ron Fest too. I think that came from Ron Fest, man. They were good friends, and they linked us. I mean, he linked us. I think he was out at the studio with him. We went out there, met up with him, played on some beats. He wound up recording the two of them, and then ever since then, man, we just always kept in contact. But super good dude, man. Always good energy with X.
Funny guy, right?
Super funny. Now, the first time, this wasn't the first time I met him, but one of the times we went to LA and my sister and brother-in-law was with him. He was like, yo, come ride to the studio with us, and, Exhibit's going to be there. So I was like, oh, Exhibit? So took him out there and met him, bro, and once they was crying when they left because he was so, like, entertaining and just hilarious the whole session.
You talking about Jonan. When we get around each other, oh my God, it's insane. It's insane. But I'm also a fan of, I don't know if I ever pronounce his name right. Is it Lecrae or Lecrae?
Lecrae, yeah.
So Lecrae, like, he's mastered how to give you spiritual music without sounding like he's preaching.
Yes.
Without being Kirk Franklin. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it's like that's what makes it dope. And I have a cousin, a little cousin that's is trying to get into the gospel side of rapping as well. And that's why I try to keep him conscious of, like, yo, it shouldn't sound like it's gospel rap. You know
because one of I used to did not like gospel rap prior to
at all.
Yeah, because it was just it sounded cheesy first. Like, I'm still, like, even though I love, the message and the gospel, like, I still want to hear some authenticity creatively in it.
Absolutely.
So
I still want to feel hip hop.
When me and Craig met, he was into that too. He was like, yo, I just want, like, I love your sound. I just want you to be you. So I wind up working with him on, like, did a song on a mixtape, and then I did 2 songs on his Anomaly album. And then after the Anomaly album, he was like, yo, come executive produce my Church Close 3. And I had a blast with that because it was, like, really diving into, like, feeling,
right.
and giving them some substance musically,
right.
and he was with it, man. So I think that's why that project turned out so dope, but he has mastered that. He's been a student of hip hop, and he found out how to balance it, and like you say, on the message side, not feeling too preachy. Still life. You're still talking about life and relating to life situations, but at the same time, it's not, like, too much.
That part.
Yeah, he has a great balance.
Super, like I say, I listen to his music, not even realizing I'm listening to a gospel rapper.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, that's what made it all the more better for me. I definitely want to work with him one day myself.
Oh, okay, man, I can definitely link y'all, bro.
Yeah,
he's
sure.
super good people too.
Oh, okay.
Like, and to be honest with you, like, him and his label Reach, the business that they do is amazing.
Oh,
like,
wow.
Just being like, that's probably one of a couple labels. Disney, of course.
Of course.
Reach, and Beyonce company. Dang, I forgot the name of the company. But those 3 companies, for sure, I can definitely tell you, like, I've never been paid for a record before it actually came out, but with them 3.
Aftermath the same way.
Aftermath, okay. Oh, yeah, you know what? Aftermath too. Because I done a John Connor record that never came out, and Dre still paid me for the record.
Cut the check. Nothing to talk about. You did the record? All right, let me shout out right quick. Get it out to him. Like, everybody else, they be like, you ain't get your check yet? What? Hold on, man. Let me,
like, 5 months, 8 months. I think probably the longest with me is probably close to a year.
I got you beat.
Really?
2 years. Oh. Insane.
Oh, man.
I had to call Sylvia on directly, like, listen, Sylvia, can you please get these people to give me my what I already worked for 2 years ago.
What I already worked for. That's what's
like,
nah, man. I still don't understand it. I really don't understand it.
I get it. Like I said, because of how the business is now, that's why I say I feel so bad for new producers, because a producer's only leverage is the sample info and the session. After you relinquish those two things, you're pretty much at the mercy of the court. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't keep them honest after that.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So in order for you to keep them honest, you got to hold on to something.
Yeah.
And now they're hitting you with the BS now. Well, we want this beat, but we want to clear the sample first. So what's the sample? So it's like, what?
I know, it makes no sense whatsoever.
At all. So you're gonna pay the sample people before you pay me? Like, what are you talking about? I come from a place where I want that beat. I know it's a sample, whatever. We can't get it clear, we'll replay it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a no-brainer. It's like, we just reinterpolate it. It's nothing.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It's so crazy, man. It is so crazy.
It's insane.
Yeah, I don't get it, man. But I mean, that's one of the things too. Like, my attorney, like, I've never done a producer debt.
No, you can't. They got me twice in my career, and both times, and that's why it took me 2 years to get that money, because of that debt. Yep.
Yeah, that was one of the first things he was like, "We're not doing producer debts.
Leave those alone all the way."
Yeah.
Bad news. But the thing, what makes it enticing is that they tell you that if they do it that way, you get the money.
Yeah.
I can cut you the check tomorrow.
That's what they say.
Right quick. Yeah. That's what they say. That you still end up waiting 2 months for the check after that anyway. So it's like, yo. So that's why I'm like, yo, the only way to keep these people honest, man, is to hold on to something of value.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make sense for us to give everything.
Everything, yeah.
And then we like, hey, hello, song out, video out, everybody's been paying with us. It's like, what in the world? I'm at a Twilight Zone right now. Yeah,
you have no leverage at that point.
Zero.
Yeah, what usually happens too at this time, like I know a few situations, I hadn't been paid for stuff, but then they added, the song is out, hadn't been paid, but then these syncs start to come in, and I wasn't reproving. I was like, okay, get this check, and then I started proving these syncs, like 2-3 syncs on the table, like, and they at that time they on the phone like, yo, we need you to get the, they need you to sign off on these records like ASAP.
No.
Can I get my money ASAP?
That part. Like,
yeah.
Why is that
and
hard?
all of a sudden they turn it up. So it's like, okay, yeah, we can get this check cut. And it's like, okay, get this check. Let's do this. And then I'll go ahead and sign off on these syncs,
And that's why, I don't know if you've seen my story of the day. I was like, another reason why I feel bad for new producers is because at least back in the day when you used to post your plaque, 2 million, your bank account reflected that plaque.
It's different now.
Now it's like you can have a plaque that say 10 million on that bitch, and you still got $400 in the bank. It's like there is no back end for the producer anymore. That's what's being erased. Yeah. And that's why I told people a long time ago. I say some kind of way they convinced us that nobody wanted to buy music anymore. And once they took the CD player out of the car, that pretty much co-signed that sentiment. So now a CD is looking like vinyl. Can't play that shit in the car. You know what I mean? That's old school. It automatically took us right there. Like, oh, that's old school. I don't want no CD no more. Which was a total lie. It was a total myth, because people they still love music. Like you say, me and you, Mr. I don't know. I want the artwork back. I want to see all of that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who wrote nothing no more, because you got nothing attached to anything anymore.
Nothing attached to anything, man. Credits are not important anymore. They're just not important. I mean, they are important, but per how it's being presented, it's not
at all. So you hear, like you say, you hear a great record now. You got to go to Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's already listed.
Hopefully it's on there. Yeah. No guarantee.
No guarantee. But now, which news blew your way more? The Kanye or the Beyonce?
Man, actually, the Kanye was probably the most exciting because of the time it happened, and that was what I had been working. That's what I've been working up towards.
Right.
But the Beyonce, because when I went to work with her, and she flew me up to New York to work with her for a week on the 4 album, and the very first day I was already defeated. And the reason why is because, okay, I had my beats ready. I started playing her beats. You know, she's dancing and doing little melodies and stuff on it. And then about the third beat, she stopped. She said, "I love all of those, but I don't need any more beats for my album." And I'm like, oh gosh, like, what does that mean? She's like, "I had these 5 songs that I really love the songs, but I don't like the production on them. So I want to give you these 5 Pro Tools sessions and let you rework these. But I already have 75 songs on my album." And when for my album. And when she told me that, in my mind, I was like, there's no way I'm going to make this Beyonce album. So I'm like, I might as well just, have fun and, work on these songs. And then as we started working on these songs, about the second day, I was like, I got to make this Beyonce album. Because I started thinking, I always had this fear of getting one record, or one big record like the Kanye record, and never doing another record again. Because I had people that was coming up around the time and they had their big break, and then you don't hear about them no more. And I always had a fear of that. And, so I was like, I have to make this Beyonce record. And then at that point, my whole perspective changed and my mindset changed. And you could start telling in the way I was approaching the records too, So wind up doing that. They liked 2 of the 5. They really liked 2 of the 5 records. So 2 of the records made the top 25. When they cut it down to 17 or the top 20, we had 1 that was still in there. And then that wind up, which was Best Thing I Never Had, and that wind up making the album and becoming her second single. So I was shocked, because even after I left that week, I would shoot Tata a text, be like, "Yo, y'all decided on the album, the final track listing yet?" And he'd be like, "Not yet," or "No, we hadn't decided anything yet." And it was like months, and I'm like, man, and they wasn't hitting me back. And then those thoughts start going like, man, I don't think I made that much.
I ain't make it, goddammit.
I don't think I made this much. And then he called me out the blue one day. He's like, "Yo, congratulations, you made the album." And then I was like, "You for real?" And he was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Yeah, we think you got a second single too." And I pretty much just lost it. Like, yo, this is crazy.
You got 4 Mount Rushmores on your list though. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Like, the Kanye, Beyonce.
Watch the Throne joint.
Watch the Throne now.
Man, this is crazy, because I remember being, and you probably know what I'm about to say, I remember being in the Watch the Throne sessions, and it was a beat Kanye will always play of yours. I think I played it for you.
It was a drum with horns in it.
Yeah, it's got the little intro from the movie.
Yeah, he wanted to change the drums. I was like, nah. Not happening.
Oh man, I remember this conversation, because he was like, "Man, Bink won't send the Pro Tools to us," and it was Jay and Kanye. He was like, "Man, Bink won't," and they may have made a phone call to you or something, because I remember being on the phone. He was like, "Man, we trying to get these stems from Bink, but he won't send them to us." And I remember thinking at that point, like, "Oh, Bink is a OG for real."
That point, you ain't finished
like that basically showed me that. Like, really, like, I don't care who you are, like, this is more value. This holds more value of the way my stuff sounds. I don't care who you are, like, that's that values over anybody.
Right. I don't
Who
want to
wants it?
compromise. I'm never going to compromise myself.
Never
You
want
know
to
what I'm saying?
compromise yourself
So
and your sound.
and it would have been something different had they say, yo, all right, come out here. Let's try to figure it out.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That would have made all the difference.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact you wanted me to send my kids to you without me coming, it won't happen.
I
You know what I'm
remember this, bro. It's funny. It's funny.
Yeah.
Even Devil in a New Dress, that was 2-track, right? Or was that a stem? That was a 2-track? Wow.
Because the crazy shit was, I didn't even play that for him.
Wow.
We were in Hawaii, and I was holding my laptop in my arm, my forearm like this, and was listening to one beat, and then the beat goes off while we're talking, and the Devil in the New Dress beat comes on, and he's like, "Yo, what's that?" I'm like, "Oh, you fuck with it?" Like, because I would have never played it for him because of the time. Like the time, like the super soulful shit wasn't really cracking at the time. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't thinking that he would be on that type of page. So it was meant to happen. It came on. He was like, "Oh no, I need that right now."
Yeah.
So
man.
I gave to the engineer. He went, and the first thing he said was, "Oh, I love it though." That's the first thing he said that they kept on the record to that day. Like as soon as he went in the booth, he said, "Oh, I love it though."
Man.
You know what I mean? And then he was like, "She loved Jesus, but she learned a lot from Satan." That was the first line he came up with. You know what I'm saying? Like that was out the gate, and then I just walked out like, "Yo, do your magic." You know what I'm saying?
I remember hearing that joint while I was out there, man, and I was like, "Man, who did this?" It was like Bink. I'm like, "Wow!" Hey, it was another joint too. I was in Hawaii, and this is a whole different time. This is when we were out there working on John Legend's album. And I remember hearing that, and I was like, "Yo, who did this?" He's like, "Man, Bink did."
Yeah, the crazy thing was
amazing.
When I gave Kanye the CD before I came to Hawaii, the "Who Do We Think We Are" beat was up there.
Yes, that's it. That joint.
The Pride and Joy record with Fat Joe and Kanye.
Okay, yeah.
Jay-Z interview with Hit Boy. His first single when he came out, that was up there. And the Watch the Throne beat was up there. You know what I'm saying? So like those are all the beats on that one CD. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy,
but it was, like I said, it was definitely an experience. You know what I'm saying? An honor to go up there because me and Kanye, I came in like 3 years before him. But I remember when he came in, he used to ask me questions.
Yeah.
What should he add or musicians. So he started using my musicians and my engineers. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
Which I had, so E-Bass, I bought E-Bass in the game.
Wow.
And then Doug Wilson was my engineer. Doug Wilson mixed all my stuff. But we mixed together anyway. So all my blueprint stuff, Dynasty stuff, that was always Doug. So Kanye started rocking with, with both of them a little bit. But he used to always ask me about, what he should add to it, and just watching him figure that thing out. It was just like, it was dope, to see him go from producer to artist.
Yeah.
Because I remember when he first presented himself as an artist, and a lot of people were just like, nah, keep doing beats. And he was like, oh, no, I'm finna do this artist. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all got me fucked up. Like, I'm finna do this. You know what I mean?
And that's really why I was like, do this now.
Right. And that's why I tilted my hat to him that much more, because that would have discouraged the average person. The very person that you look up to, you rap for me, like, that would have kind of thrown you off, the average person off path.
Yeah.
But he was like, not only did he keep going, but he went to spend his own money and shot the Through the Wire video.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So once he did that, it totally flipped everybody. Like, oh, this, because it was never smooth for a producer to go from producer to artist. Normally, it wasn't. So especially at that level.
It wasn't a cool thing back then.
Nah, but we have plenty of producers that were rap, but like that.
Yeah,
That wasn't normal.
that's
You know what I'm
crazy.
saying? That wasn't normal at all to hear a rapper. I mean, hear a producer first that can rap better than the people he was doing beats for. Like,
Mm-mm.
like,
Yeah, nah, that's true.
like that shit don't
That's
happen.
true.
Like, you know what I mean? No man, that shit don't happen like that. But we got another mutual friend too, though. Royce.
Royce is my guy, man.
Come on, man.
Love Royce. That's my
Royce.
brother. That's my brother, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started working with man. I've always been a fan of Royce since like Boom. Boom is still like
Right.
one of my, so I always followed his career and was a fan of his stuff. I think I met Royce through.
Go say Rhyme Fest.
No, it wasn't Ron Fist. I think it was Mr. Porter.
Oh, Denon, another good dude.
Don. I
Another,
think it was.
another
I think
dope
it was
producer.
Denon. That's my guy too, man.
Yeah,
Just
good guy, man.
yeah, just good people. Yeah, and I wound up going to Detroit like one time to mess with Royce and Denon, man. And I think ever since then, it just felt like home. They felt like my brothers. And I always enjoyed creating with them. So that led to them reaching out to executive produce the Book of Ryan with Denon.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that and dang, the layers that I get executive. I can't remember if I was executive producer on Layers or not, but I did quite a few joints on Layers too. But yeah,
Right.
I know definitely Book of Ryan. They was like, yo, we want you to, help executive produce this with me and Denon. And people would tell me too, they was like, man, Royce is very, he doesn't allow a lot of people in his circle, kind of like M, so they was like,
Not
man,
at all.
if he like you, you good, you in there, you
Yeah.
feel like he can trust you, and it was just a mutual thing, man, and we bonded. And yeah, like I say, they just good people. Now, that's one of the things too, is I just love working with good people. At the end of the day, okay, yeah, you talented or whatever, but like, how's your heart? How's your integrity? How's your character?
What's the energy in the session? Like, what's
What's
the
the
energy
energy
in the
like?
session?
And
Like, I can't take that uptight
yeah,
energy.
I really have a no tolerance for it. So
Right.
that's how I kind of align myself with who I'm working with. Like now, it's like,
Right.
does it really align, or is it something that I'm forcing?
That part.
Personalities clash, and all that matters now.
Yeah, but like I say, it ain't just about old head always told me all money ain't good money.
All money ain't good money. That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you can sit here and try to get this check and be ready to punch his head off the entire session.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can be in here and have fun and laugh and,
Yeah.
and bounce ideas off each other and really enjoy the session.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be in that session where I feel like somebody's micromanaging me and just always scrutinizing
Terrible,
every
man.
little thing. Yeah.
One thing I always go by is if music begins to feel like a job to me, then I got to make some changes. Yeah. It's got to be fun, because that affects me. That affects me when it starts to feel like work.
Right.
So it's got to be. I got to keep it fun, man, and I got to keep the energy right.
I think one of the dopest things that I love about you is just the fact that your son and your wife is intertwined with your career. You know what I'm saying? I think that's like super dope. You know what I'm saying? To watch. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. Like, I envy that about you. Like, that's so. I want that. You know what I'm saying? I would love to have something like that. You know what I'm saying? To have my son doing what I do when he's actually good at it. And then my wife was like, "Yeah, you go do it. You got it. I'll send these FedExes out for you first." And like, that's everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's everything. Like, real shit. So, I just want to say that. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't see.
Appreciate that. That means a lot, man. They have. I mean, they've really been a part of. It's really been a blessing. They've been a part of everything that I've been. They've been involved. That was one of the things too. Like, with my son doing it, it was I never wanted to force him into doing it, but I wanted him to know that that's what he wanted to do. You know, so
Right.
I really didn't stay on him to, yo, you need to be doing this or doing that, or making sure you're making beats or whatever. It was like putting the program on his computer and then let him figure it out. And if he ever had questions, he would come to me, but you know, not trying to force him into doing it. And then with my wife, man, she was just always just a champion supporter too. And that was proven when I wanted to leave my corporate job, and she got fully behind me and was like, yo, I feel like this is what you should be doing full time too. And that right there changed everything for me. Yeah, it really did. Just her support. And instead of being like, no, you know, we need this, because at that time we were struggling. We had 2 young boys we were raising. And she was like, let's figure it out. Let's take a year, pay some bills off, you know, pay some debt off, save some money, get rid of some things that we don't need, like cable. And she started these little meal plans to where we would buy basically a lot of ground meat, and every day would be spaghetti, hamburgers, or, you know.
That's right.
Yeah, we just put a plan together, and 8 months later, after that conversation I had with her, I wound up leaving my job and just going full force with the music. You know.
Now look at you.
Yeah. I always tell her it worked out.
Come on, man. She
did the right thing.
She is God sent, man. Like bro, it's been so many times I've seen guys come to my studio and they want to get into music, right? And they either got the type of wife they just keep calling.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep calling them. Or the one that comes and she looks miserable.
Yeah.
Like she don't want to be there.
Yeah.
So of course, how can he work seeing her like that?
No,
like, you know what I'm saying?
That's true.
So
man.
it's like to see, that's what I said, to see your situation, like, oh man, that's every man's dream.
Yeah. And it wasn't prior to that, which what is even more crazy is when we were dating, at the time we were dating, like I stood her up on so many dates because of music. You know, over at my guy's house, you know, making beats on the SB1200 all day, and she'd be like, "Yeah, we're gonna let's go to dinner or a movie this evening," and then she'll come by and I'll be like, "Almost done," and she'll come back an hour later, and I'm like, "Man, almost done. I finished." And we look up, and it's 11 o'clock at night, and everything done passed, and it's like, whoa. Man.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Again.
So it was a lot of that, man. Just not being able to pull away from it. But, you know, as our relationship grew, personally, I had to find a way to make her feel like she was part of my dream and my vision as well. I couldn't continue to make it feel like she was competing against it.
Right.
Because, yeah. So it's like, how can I make her involved?
I involve her? I made that mistake.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I definitely made that mistake.
It's such a hard balance too, man, because, you know, back then, that's when you really trying to put those hours in and figure it out and get better at your craft. So I always say you have to if you want to be good at something, you have to sacrifice something, which is usually time. You know, time with family, time with your spouse or girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever. And that was the time I was really trying to figure it out, because I knew that that's what I wanted to do. But I knew that I had to put the time in it to really get good, to be at a point to where I could compete. You know, so she paid for a lot of that, but like I say, it worked out.
It definitely worked out for the brother. And listen, ladies and gentlemen, this is what support looks like. You know what I'm saying?
Man, that's exactly what support looks like. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it can just pretty much catapult you to far beyond where you would be if you had that. If you didn't have that negative energy, like, oh, what time you coming home? Well, are you gonna be in there all night? Well, I'm hungry. You said that yesterday. Like, oh my God. That right there is a producer's nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
Like, real, that's producer's nightmare right there. That's why I tell producers, I said, let me tell you something I used to do when I was dating. I said, I would invite a girl. I used to have a studio in my basement in Jersey. So I said, I would invite a girl over and set her up upstairs, you know, the big screen and movies. All right, listen, all the movies in this cabinet right here, liquor over here, you know what I mean? I come up every once in a while, I talk to him, but I'm back in the studio.
Mm.
And the one that will keep coming downstairs, like, so how much, you think you're going to?
That was the
That's
test,
the
huh?
one that's the one you never invite back.
That's
The one you
that's
come
the test.
upstairs 1 in the morning and they got a pillow and a blanket and they sleep.
Mm-hmm. You hit it. You hit it on the
That,
nose. Yeah, you're right.
that's the one.
Mhm.
And she comfortable,
That's
she chilling. She could be anywhere, but she'd rather be here with you. You know what I mean?
That's the one that aced the test right there.
That's the one that Aisha test right there. She made herself comfortable, you know what I'm saying, until I got ready. I came up and boom, you know what I'm saying? But these guys, I see these young guys with these chicks, and chicks is giving them the business. It's like, bro, if you don't get rid of her, if you don't hurry up and get rid of that one, I see a serious whack future for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real. But the last Mount Rushmore, for real, is your man Marshall Mathers.
Yeah.
Man, I know that was a process getting on that.
Definitely, man. And that was one of the ones that came. This was crazy because it was one of the ones that came out of the blue. And so I had got to a point to where I was tired of doing A&R meetings because every A&R meeting I was going to, they'd be at their desk. And while I'm playing beats, they'd be like, okay,
on
yeah,
their phone.
cool. Yeah, leave that one. Okay, yeah, go to the next one. Okay, yeah, put that one on the drive for me. Okay, appreciate it. Yeah, it would be that, and I'm like, man, I just do not like A&R meetings. So my managers at the time, who was big ups my man's DJ, love DJ and Stat Quo.
Right. Mm-hmm.
They was like, yo, my man's Manny at Interscope, wants to hear some joints from you. Go by and play it. And at first, I was like, okay, I'll go do it. So I went over there, and he's at the desk. We meet each other, and I start playing joints. And then I played one joint, and he was like, give me that right now. Like, M needs that. And I'm like, okay. So I put on the flash drive. He emailed the beat right there while I was there, sent it over. And a couple other beats he picked from me. And probably a couple of weeks later, he texted me. He was like, M is really feeling this record. And I'm like, cool. He was like, I'll keep you updated. And then a couple of weeks later after that, he was like, yo, they need the stems for this record. And I sent the stems, and he was like, one thing about M, if he asks him for the stems, he really likes it, So I wound up sending the stems and wound up making the album, man. So after that, they would always reach out. I started building more with Paul Rosenberg and Tracy, built a relationship with them. And they always yell, Marshalls need more stuff. So I just be sending stuff to them. And, wind up getting on another album. And, yeah, it's just kind of like that. He just kind of always reach out now. And I kind of learned what he gravitates towards. The joints he was picking from me, I kind of learned some certain things, whether it was pocket or certain sounds I was using that he gravitated towards. So I know when I'm sending him, I'm like focused on certain key elements that I know he gravitates towards and likes.
He's cinematic.
Yeah, very.
Very cinematic, you know what I'm saying? So you can't send no simple shit. For real. I mean, he likes the epic feel, you know what I mean? On some records anyway, but then you got the happy joints too. But the real joints, like string driven and all that, he's another monster.
Yep.
I just remember seeing him rapping with that backpack on this some DVD I had like 20 years ago. He was just he was at some record store. They was freestyling. He was just spanking me, like he was just like giving everybody business in this battle. I was like, yo, who is this fucking white kid? He's like going ham on everybody.
No, I remember the first time I heard him, we was on me and some of my fellas, we was in a crew together. We were doing a road trip to DC, and we passed through Atlanta, and they had this radio station. I forgot what station it was, like a bunch of underground stuff, and they were playing his songs like crazy, and we was like, man, who is this? and we found out it was M. And I think ever since that moment, like we always just stayed in, you know, just kind of stayed connected in to him, and was always digging for him, you know, whether on forums or whatever. And bro, he was spitting like he was one of those MCs that every bar was a bar.
It was a situation. Every
Like
bar was a situation.
literally every line was potent.
And his cadences that he picks.
Man, the cadence was so incredible.
His cadences be intricate.
Yeah.
But he becomes an instrument himself.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I look at it. Like, he really knows how to get in the creeps and crevices of that beat.
Yeah.
And, you know what I'm saying, make it a marriage. So what's your dog right now?
Man, I think I've been going back and forth between Ableton and FL, but Ableton is like my main.
That's not what you had when I met you, though.
Man, I went through so many DAWs. I think when I'm for real. I think when I met you, I was on Reason. I think I was on Reason. Yeah. But now Ableton is my go-to. Yeah.
Wow, a lot of people have made that transition to Ableton. I tried it, and I just
you didn't like it.
Couldn't get into it, man. I tried, bro.
You Logic, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You always been Logic?
MP3000.
Oh, okay.
ASR 10.
Okay, yeah.
ASR 10 first.
Oh, okay. And then MPC?
Then MPC, then Logic.
Okay. How was it for you transitioning from hardware to software?
Excruciating.
Yeah, me too. It took me a minute. I was so against it at first, and it just really took me one time going over one of my homies when I first moved out here. One of my homies by the name of Picnic, who's a incredible producer. I went to his house, and he was playing me these beats, and I was like, "Yo, what are you doing this on?" He was like, "Man, Reason." He was like, "Let me show it to you." So he showed it, and that's when I made the transition. I was like, "Okay, I got to get this, and I gotta learn this because I like how everything is right here and it's fast." Right. And I was still dealing with floppy disks, and I'm like, "Yo," I'm like, "I gotta make this transition." And it was tough at time because my mentality was so hardware. I was just so big on hardware and diehard hardware fan. You know, so it was hard for me to transition, but once I got it, got in the groove, it's like, okay, this makes sense.
Devil in a New Dress, that's the MP and Pro Tools.
Really?
Same thing with the John Legend joint.
Well, I can say, I mean, I was gonna say that I can tell because the swing on them drums, but at the same time, your Logic, you found out how to do that on Logic too. Because the new stuff you're doing, you still got the same same swing in your pocket.
But it was like trying to get into Logic, going from that MP was just like Jesus, take the wheel, like please. Like I was trying to figure it out. Like
it's a big learning curve, man. A whole nother you got to flip your whole mindset, you know, to understand how things work and how, you know, how the algorithms of these DAWs work too.
But I don't want nobody to get it confused either. You don't have to make the transition to compete.
No, absolutely
not. You are definitely cheating yourself by not exploring that.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You can still get it cracking with your hardware for sure. Mm-hmm. But not to expose all these new bells and whistles out here now that it would be criminal for you not to, because especially with the Ableton, how you can, the things you can do with that right click button is insane.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. I think the balance with me was when I started using software. Even now, when I started using software, like I just try to incorporate still some type of live instrumentation to things, and then I kind of got into the synth game of buying like Juno and Moog and stuff like that, and that helped greatly, you know, just to keep.
I seen your setup.
Yeah, man.
Shout out to Mario Winans. I remember, you know, being the bad boy at Daddy's house, and Mario Winans be looking like Paul Schaefer in that bitch. He had them joints like just stacked up, like every roller joint, man, like, you know what I'm saying? The little Planet Fat joint, whatever you call them joints. I forgot the analog station joints. Like he had all them shits, like all them minied up, ready to go. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Teddy was the same way, but the textures you can get out of there is just like, it's insane. So you, like I said, you'd be insane not to expose that extra superpower that you can tap into to add to your hardware stuff. You know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely. I totally agree.
But Lupe, I'm a fan of Lupe too.
Lupe is my guy too, man.
Lupe Fiasco, that he's on my bucket list. I got to get at him one time. But you have my all-time favorite vocalist in life.
Oh, I know you finna say it too.
Gladys Knight, bro.
Gladys Knight, man.
Gladys Knight is like, to me, Jasmine Sullivan is the new Gladys Knight.
Man. I never thought about that.
She's the new Gladys Knight. Texture-wise, like, it's the same range.
Yeah.
Deep, raspy.
Oh, that's crazy.
Like, deep, raspy, but to still
be able to,
You know what I'm saying? Wow. Still can get up there on you right quick. Like, bro, I love that woman, man. Like, I got to meet her one time.
She is one of the best persons you can ever meet.
She favors my mom.
I promise you, I learned so much from her, man. And just, first of all, being able to produce a song for her. And it was a situation where they drove her tour bus down and she stayed here for 2 days to work on the song. So the tour bus is parked on the side street over here on the side of my house, like for 2 days. And I'm like, wow, this is crazy, man. So, just being in the studio with her and having these conversations about 40, 50 years back, and these little stories that she was saying, and then putting the song out, and then she wanted me to come do the promo tour for her, just to be in the midst of the promo tour. So going to like Sway in the Morning and The Real and all Bevy Smith, and these are different shows, man, and doing these 5 o'clock in the morning lobby calls with her every day, and it was just amazing, man. I still can't believe like I actually did it, or that I was on a promo tour with Gladys Knight, because she's one of the artists that I never would have expected to work with, period. That's one of those, she's great, legendary, iconic, but there's no way, like, how is that going to align? So it wasn't even a thought. So for that to happen, it was nobody but God, bro. I couldn't have personally made that work. Right. Yeah.
She, the fact that I sampled her record for Freeway, when they remember record. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I just remember listening to that sample, and it was the Way We Were, the live version. And they had the whole orchestra in there with her. And it was just like, with that brass section too, I was like, oh, I got like when I get it from my father, when I hear something that I like a lot, I get chill bumps all up and down my arm. Like my hair literally stands up on my arm, on both arms. And my father's the same way. If I'm playing music, he'll run in the room and say, look at yeah, you got one there, boy. You got one there, boy. And his hair, like he would have goosebumps all up his arm. Like literally. You know what I'm saying? And so when I hear somebody sing and they like really like going there like Kim Burrell type, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like jazz,
Oh, that
like
no, I got the same feeling, man. Just her being in my booth and her doing certain takes, and I was like, wow. And me and the engineer and the songwriter that was in with me, Veer, we would literally look at each other and just be like, yo, this is like, did you hear that? It was man, it was definitely um, it was an experience of a lifetime. Like
I gotta
it
say,
really
when I
was.
seen you do that, I said, yo, that that just shows great range that you're covering to have
Man,
from Lil Uzi Vert to Royce the 5'9" to Eminem to Gladys Knight to Beyonce to Kanye, like that means you just understand music.
man,
That's you know what I'm saying.
I can honestly say that the Gladys Knight was probably the most stressful too, because I would have these moments to where I would literally go into like panic attacks, and I mean being by myself,
Right.
because I would start to think of the caliber of her and her legacy and all the history she has, and just how iconic she was, and the fact that she was trusting me, because we would have these meetings on the phone, and like even in New York, we would have these meetings in our rooms, and every time like her manager or her husband, who's a manager, would ask her something about something, she would look at me and be like, whatever S thinks. And that was so much pressure for me that she was, she would be on the phone like, what you think, S? What you think we should do right here? What you think? And that was so much. I try not to show it on the phone. I was trying to, be as confident, because I didn't want her to feel like I felt like I wasn't confident in what we were doing
That's right.
and the decisions I was making. But when I would get out the
Yeah.
phone, bro, I would get in these panic attacks that were like, man, like, am I even capable of doing this? Because I would always think about who she was. And just that alone was so just in a whole nother level, that it's like, am I even capable of being attached to this? And I struggle with it. I can't even lie. Like, I'm just going to be as transparent as possible. Like, I struggle with that, but we would always have these conversations, and she would say like little key things to me in these conversations, which was almost like God giving me confirmation that I'm supposed to be doing that, or I'm where I'm supposed to be.
That part. Because one thing I learned late in my life is that confidence is sexy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, to just stand firm on whatever you believe.
Stand firm on what you believe. That's right.
And just rock out. Like, you gotta, live by it. You live by it. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what I'm standing on. This is what I believe in. This is how it's supposed to be. That's the only thing people respect.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, people are like, oh, whatever you think, you let me know. Like, all right. You know what I mean? Like, you can't be that guy, because
yeah,
the
you
wrong
gotta be.
person
You have to be sure of yourself, man. You have to.
Got
be
to, because the wrong person in the room can infiltrate.
I was just gonna say
fast.
that. Yep, absolutely.
Fast.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, now you're making him look like the genius.
Yeah.
Because he comes in like, what, we need to do this, we need to do that, and go over here and go over there. That's everything we need to do. And you're like, that's what I just said, actually, but okay. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, it was like you said, that was a good life lesson for you. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because I need that too, because like you feel like you're in the hot seat.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, what we doing? That's just like, shit. I mean, we doing something. You know what I mean?
What you think?
What you think? What you want to do? Like, nah, man. Yeah, you gotta be like, this is what we do. We're doing horns today. You know what I'm saying? We're doing horns to 5 o'clock, and then after 5, we're gonna go into the, add the guitar. Like, okay, cool.
Yeah. Yep.
You like that tape, S? No. You can't be like, well, leave me. I don't know. Like,
yeah,
no,
it really boils down to committing early.
Yeah.
Yeah, just making the commitment, because it's easy to overthink things. Us being creative, it's easy to do that. So it's just like committing. Once you feel something's right, commit to it. Move to the next thing. Commit, move to the next.
Stand on it. You gotta stand on it. You know what I'm saying? But like I say, man, I appreciate you coming up here with me, S, man. This is an honor.
Man, same here, man. Appreciate you reaching out and allowing me to even share the platform with you.
People, like I said, it's the real creators and the real innovators don't get enough light. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't really look for it. We're not doing the extra marketing and promotion for you to know our name. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're hoping our music speaks for us. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, nobody really knows us like they're supposed to know, because we're not doing the extra shit that everybody else is doing.
And
so
especially now with credits being
not there. You know what I mean?
There, yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I try to get, like yourself. I had T- last week, and
that's my guy too, man. T-.
Yeah, come on, incredible.
Like,
he's the reason why a lot of people sound like they sound. Like,
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So he's definitely a tastemaker. So I try to get all tastemakers up here, and not just people who conform.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're not a conforming type of producer. You've always had like integrity for your own sound and experiment and just doing things. So I definitely want to make sure I got you in here.
Man, I appreciate that, bro. Like I say, when I first started and entered into this new world of like this, for me personally, it was always, how can I be me but still connect to the now? And it's a challenge sometimes, but I think that as long as I'm implementing me first, and then I can add little elements of what connects to people or certain people, because when I implement me into my creativity, it's automatically going to connect to people who feel a certain way, our generation of music.
Right. That part. I told you the same thing when I met you at I Standard. I said the same thing, like, listen.
Yeah, so it's
always, I haven't wavered.
Always doing that, but then trying to find elements to connect, but not going too much, to where you lose you in it.
Which is easy to do when you don't have integrity. You know what I'm saying? Losing yourself is inevitable. You know what I'm saying? But like you say, when you can actually stand on something and be like, I'm not doing it. And I'm not doing it for this reason. And like it or love it, or or hate it.
Yeah.
This is how I feel. You know what I mean?
Like you did with the stems for Ye and Jay.
That part. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, no, you're not touching my drums, bro. I'm sorry. Like, we're not doing that.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, like, me and Kanye definitely got some unfinished business. Like, you know what I'm saying? We only did one record, and it's been named all types of great names, you know what I'm saying, like in history. So we definitely need to get back up, both of us. You know what I'm saying? We did some incredible records with him. You know what I'm saying? But again, I appreciate the Grammy Award winning a couple times over. You know what I'm saying? Coming on my show, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a blessing. I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you, big man. Appreciate you, bro.
I hit you up.
All right.
You too.
Peace.
One.